Let's go to live. Obama is the final speaker, and I think he's on now. Yeah. So let's go ahead and boot scoot boogie to him. Let's see the line of bullshit that he's gonna tell everybody. Here we go. Let me just mute it for the music there. So here's Obama. He's the last one, guys. I know we're going kind of late tonight, but I promised you that we would get the speech in as well. So here we go. Okay, we're just waiting for the music to stop. Yeah, he's eating it up. Here comes the showman himself, Barack Obama. They're still playing the music. Oh my God. Just go ahead and speak already. Like, this is just ridiculous. The ham.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. All right. That's enough. Thank you. Chicago. It's good to be home. It is good to be home, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling fired up.
Remember, he did not want to come out and endorse Kamala Harris. Don't forget about that. Remember the whole thing that happened behind the scenes, but now he's fired up, right?
I am feeling ready to go. Even if I am the only person stupid enough to speak after Michelle Obama. I am feeling hopeful because this convention has always been pretty good to kids with funny names who believe in a country where anything is possible.
Oh boy.
Because we have a chance to elect someone who has spent her entire life trying to give people the same chances America gave her. Someone who sees you and hears you and will get up every single day and fight for you. The next president of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
He don't believe that shit. He don't believe that. He don't believe it. Look at the look on his face. He's like, are they buying it? Are they buying it? Am I selling it? Am I selling it?
It's been 16 years since I had the honor of accepting this party's nomination for president. And I know that's hard to believe because I have not aged a bit. But it's true. And looking back, I can say without question that my first big decision as your nominee turned out to be one of my best. And that was asking Joe Biden to serve by my side as vice president. Other than some common Irish blood, Joe and I come from different backgrounds, but we became brothers. And as we worked together for 8, sometimes pretty tough years, what I came to admire most about Joe wasn't just his smarts, his experience. It was his empathy and his decency and his hard-earned resilience.
Like that time when, speaking of empathy, like that time when he told Charlemagne the God, if you got to figure out if you're going to vote for me or Donald Trump, you ain't black. Like that time. What about that time when he told Barack Obama, he said Barack Obama is so clean. He's so clean. As if we're not supposed to be, right? So well spoken and so clean. He's so clean, that guy.
Unshakable belief that everyone in this country deserves a fair shot. And over the last 4 years, those are the values America has needed most. At a time when millions of our fellow citizens were sick and dying, we needed a leader with the character to put politics aside and do what was right. At a time when our economy was reeling, we needed a leader with the determination to drive what would become the world's strongest recovery.
Pause. The economy is in trouble right now, Obama. Joe Biden is the president. Inflation has been running amok for the past couple of years, actually, since the war in Ukraine started. So the economy's been bad under Joe Biden's presidency. Joe Biden could easily stop the price gouging right now if he wanted to. This doesn't have to wait till Kamala Harris becomes president of the United States if she becomes president. Joe Biden can do the same thing that Richard Nixon did and stop the price gouging to put that pressure, tell the corporations that they're not allowed to price gouge. So here's Barack Obama pretending like the economy is great, and it's not.
15 million jobs, higher wages, lower health care costs. At a time when the other party had turned into a cult of personality, we needed a leader who was steady and brought people together and was selfless enough to do the rarest thing there is in politics, putting his own ambition aside for the sake of the country. History will remember Joe Biden as an outstanding president who defended democracy at a moment of great danger.
No, history will remember Joe Biden as Genocide Joe. Pretty sure that's what we'll remember. Not no damn democracy, not him beating Donald Trump. Pretty sure he will be remembered as Genocide Joe. That's what the posters show you. That's what the t-shirts show you. I'm pretty sure that's what people will remember him as. Barack Obama knows this. He don't even believe his own damn lie. Look at his face. Look at him. Are they buying it? Are they buying it?
And I am proud to call him my president, but I am even prouder to call him my friend. Now,
is that a Jerry curl? God damn. Is that a Jerry curl? I didn't know those were back in style.
the torch has been passed. Now it is up to all of us to fight for the America we believe in.
No, it's not. It's really not up for us to be fighting for anything to help this one. That's the thing. They always want to put it all on us after they've done nothing for us. I ain't do nothing for you guys. Didn't want to give everybody health care. Put all the money into the military industrial complex. I know you've been paying a lot for grocery prices, but can you turn around and help me win now? It's a selfish attitude.
And make no mistake, it will be a fight. For all the incredible energy we've been able to generate over the last few weeks, for all the rallies and the memes, this will still be a tight race in a closely divided country. A country where too many Americans are still struggling. Where a lot of Americans don't believe government can help. And as we gather here tonight, the people who will decide this election are asking a very simple question. Who will fight for me? Who's thinking about my future, about my children's future, about our future together? One thing is for certain, Donald Trump is not losing sleep over that question. Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala. There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. The other day I heard someone compare Trump to the neighbor who keeps running his leaf blower outside your window every minute of every day.
Again, focusing on what, and again, I think the crowd size thing is stupid. The majority of people, especially those that are not on Twitter, are not seeing this stuff anyway, but I think focusing on that is just stupid. I also think, and I've said this about both campaigns, I think that focusing on what Donald Trump is doing instead of focusing on Kamala Harris's so-called policies and platform or lack thereof, which is missing from the website. What are you going to do to be different? I think that is a mistake. I think the fact that they're not trying to separate Kamala Harris from Joe Biden moving forward, I think that is a mistake, because all people are seeing right now is just her being an extension of Joe Biden. So what they should be talking about is how a Kamala Harris presidency will be different. And they're not focusing on that. They're just like, well, this is what Trump did today. This is what Trump did yesterday. I remember Hillary Clinton doing those same things and Donald Trump won. Here's something to think about. Kamala Harris can win the popular vote and still lose, just like Hillary Clinton did.
Now, from a neighbor, that's exhausting. From a president, it's just dangerous. The truth is, Donald Trump sees power as nothing more than it means to his ends. He wants the middle class to pay the price for another huge tax cut that would mostly help him and his rich friends. He killed a bipartisan immigration deal written in part by one of the most conservative Republicans in Congress that would have helped secure our southern border, because he thought trying to actually solve the problem would hurt his campaign. He doesn't. Do not boo. Vote. He doesn't seem to care if more women lose their reproductive freedom, since it won't affect his life.
Apparently you didn't seem to care either, because when you ran on codifying Roe v. Wade into law and you won, you said that was the first thing that you would do. And once you were elected, you changed your mind and you tried to blame it on Lieberman, when even Ro Khanna told me to my face on the show that Obama could have easily just abolished the filibuster, and that would have all been set. So apparently you didn't really care that much about women's rights either. You guys at the Democratic Party, you held on to this as a card in your back pocket so that you can continue to play that card and tell the American people that Republicans are the threat because they're going to take your rights away. So make no mistake, folks. If it wasn't for the Project 2025, they always had this card in their back pocket to play whenever they needed it. You got to do this because they're going to take away women's rights. But Barack Obama, you ran on it. I can't even say that Bill Clinton ran on it, but you ran on it. And you said that would be the first thing that you would do, and you didn't do it, okay? So you're part of the reason why we got here as well.
And most of all, Donald Trump wants us to think that this country is hopelessly divided between us and them, between the real Americans, who of course support him, and the outsiders who don't. And he wants you to think that you'll be richer and safer if you will just give him the power to put those other people back in their place. It is one of the oldest tricks in politics.
You guys doing the same thing. Kamala Harris got BlackRock in her advisory board. Like, y'all doing the same thing. Both parties are obviously pro corporate interests, are pro implementing corporate, interests into a part of their political platforms. Both parties are doing that. Let's stop pretending like the Democratic Party isn't in the back pocket of Wall Street as well.
From a guy whose act has, let's face it, gotten pretty stale. We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse. America's ready for a new chapter. America's ready for a better story. We are ready for a president, Kamala Harris.
If America is ready for a new chapter, why are people supporting someone that's a part of the current administration? It's going to be the same old thing.
And Kamala Harris is ready for the job. This is a person who has spent her life fighting on behalf of people who need a voice and a champion. As you heard from Michelle, Kamala was not born into privilege. She had to work for what she's got. And she actually cares about what other people are going through. She's not the neighbor running the leaf blower. She's the neighbor rushing over to help when you need a hand.
Was she trying to help when she locked up single Black parents and took them away from their kids, and those kids were put into the system? Was she trying to help then, Obama?
As a prosecutor, Kamala stood up for children who had been victims of sexual abuse. As an attorney general of the most populous state in the country, she fought big banks and for-profit colleges.
And she let Steve Mnuchin get off because he donated to her campaign. All right. And Steve Mnuchin is still working things behind the scenes. Make sure you watch the interview I posted earlier today with Whitney Webb, where she talks about Steve Mnuchin and a whole bunch of other stuff. Really great interview there.
Securing billions of dollars for the people they had scammed. After the home mortgage crisis, she pushed me and my administration hard to make sure homeowners got a fair settlement. Didn't matter that I was a Democrat. Didn't matter that she had knocked on doors for my campaign in Iowa. She was going to fight to get as much relief as possible for the families who deserved it. As vice president, she helped take on the drug companies to cap the cost of insulin, lower the cost of health care, give families with kids a tax cut.
And turned her back on Medicare for all, flip-flopped on that.
And she is running for president with real plans to lower costs even more and protect Medicare and Medicaid and sign a law to guarantee every woman's right to make her own health care decisions.
They can do that right now. Some of these things can be done right now. Why doesn't Biden do that right now? Everybody see this game?
In other words, Kamala Harris won't be focused on her problems. She'll be focused on yours. As president, she won't just cater to her own supporters and punish those who refuse to kiss the ring or bend the knee.
Yes, she would. Just remember what she said to those protesters when she said, "You want Donald Trump, keep at it. Otherwise, I'm speaking." Right? Former cop. She created the video about the border where she said she's going to be tough. Kamala's tough on crime. She's going to crack down. Yes, she will. She'll be just like that. She also has issues keeping staff. But Obama don't want you to know that. Again, look at the look on his face. Is she buying it? Is she buying it?
She'll work on behalf of every American. That's who Kamala is. And in the White House, she will have an outstanding partner in Governor Tim Walz. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I love this guy.
Of course you do.
Tim is the kind of person who should be in politics. Born in a small town, served his country, taught kids, coached football, took care of his neighbors. He knows who he is. And he
broke indigenous treaties and put pipelines through indigenous land, called the National Guard on people protesting against against Derek Chauvin during the George Floyd protests, approved cop cities in this country. Do you guys realize that you're getting propaganda? You got Kamala Harris, who was a cop. You got Tim Walz, who's pro-police, also a Zionist as well, by the way. They kind of tried to hide that under the radar until I did my investigation about what Tim Walz really was doing back in the day. So there's that. You guys realize you're getting like propaganda, double cop. And if you get Donald Trump, you're also getting cop. So either way, either one of these people, you know what you're going to see? You're going to see an increase in police presence. I think both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump will try to target protesters. I think they will make it harder for people to protest. I think both of them will crack down on protesters. Yes, I think Kamala will do this as well. She also called protesters anti-Semitic. So brace yourself for it, guys. I hope people realize that when it comes to policing, with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, both of them are pro-cop. You are going to see more increased police presence and a more militarized police. Watch.
He knows what's important. You can tell those flannel shirts he wears don't come from some political consultant. They come from his closet, and they have been through some stuff.
Oh, boy.
They have been through some stuff. That's right. Together, Kamala and Tim have kept faith with America's central story. A story that says we are all created equal. All of us endowed with certain inalienable rights, that everyone deserves a chance, that even when we don't agree with each other, we can find a way to live with each other. That's Kamala's vision. That's Tim's vision. That's the Democratic Party's vision. And our job over the next 11 weeks is to convince as many people as possible to vote for that vision.
Can you guys believe it's only 11 weeks away? I know, right? Summer is like almost gone.
Now, it won't be easy. The other side knows it's easier to play on people's fears and cynicism, always has been. They will tell you that government is inherently corrupt, that sacrifice and generosity are for suckers. And since the game is rigged, it's okay to take what you want and just look after your own. That's the easy path. We have a different task. Our job is to convince people that democracy can actually deliver.
You need to hurry up the job with this speech. It's past my bedtime.
And in doing that, we can't just point to what we've already accomplished. We can't just rely on the ideas of the past. We need to chart a new way forward to meet the challenges of today. And Kamala understands this. She knows, for example, that if we want to make it easier for more young people to buy a home, we need to build more units and clear away some of the outdated laws and regulations that made it harder to build homes for working people in this country. That is a priority, and she's put out a bold new plan to do just that.
I agree with building more homes. We do need them, but I also think that you need to prevent BlackRock, companies like BlackRock, from buying the homes that we do have, which is part of the reason why you can't afford to buy a single family home, because BlackRock has bought up those homes, they renovate them and they increase the price, and they just sell them to, a lot of times, to other investors. So that's part of the reason why. So you need to prevent that too. Also, you need to pay people a living wage. You can build as many homes as you want to, but if people don't have a living wage, how are they going to be able to afford to buy the home? See, they never get to the root cause of the issue. They're never really trying to fully solve the problem. They're trying to put a Band-Aid on a wound instead of actually heal the wound. And this is a big part of the problem. The Democratic Party tends to be reactive instead of proactive. One thing I will give the Republican Party credit for, they do tend to be a little bit more proactive. And the Democratic Party needs to learn how to do that too. But you can build the new homes, which I think is good. We do need more homes. But I also think, again, you have to ask yourself, why is it that people can't afford to save up for a down payment on a home? I don't know about you guys, but I remember when my parents, when I was a kid, my mom stayed home with me. Like, my mom was working before, but when my mom had me, after she had me, she stayed home with me until I went to kindergarten. So I never went to daycare. This is something to think about. When people say daycare is expensive, my parents didn't have to pay for it. I stayed home with my mom until I went to kindergarten, and then she went back to work. I don't know one person that can do that today, where one of the spouses can stay home. Both people have to work. So we're not just talking about building new homes. There is obviously an economic crisis that we are facing in this country, and it didn't just happen overnight. This has happened over the decades, to where you can't even have just an everyday job and buy a home. You didn't have to have a college degree to buy a home in the 60s. You didn't have to have a college degree to buy a home in the 70s. Something changed. But he don't want to talk about that, though.
On healthcare, we should all be proud of the enormous progress that we've made through the Affordable Care Act, providing millions of people access to affordable coverage, protecting millions more from unscrupulous insurance practices. I noticed, by the way, that since it's become popular, they don't call it Obamacare no more. But
oh boy,
Kamala knows we can't stop there, which is why she'll keep working to limit out-of-pocket costs. Kamala knows that if we want to help people get ahead, we need to put a college degree within reach of more Americans. But she also knows college shouldn't be the only ticket to the middle class. We need to follow the lead of governors like Tim Walz, who said, if you've got the skills and the drive, you shouldn't need a degree to work for state government. And in this new economy, we need a president who actually cares about the millions of people all across this country who wake up every single day to do the essential, often thankless work, to care for our sick, to clean our streets, to deliver our packages. We need a president who will stand up for their right to bargain for better wages and working conditions. And Kamala will be that president.
Didn't she go against the railroad workers? Didn't she go against the railroad workers that wanted to go on strike? They kill me with this.
Yes, she can.
Oh boy.
Yes, she can.
Remember, when you hear people chanting that, what you got to remember, guys, the people that are there, these are people that are all set to vote for and support Kamala anyway, right? The people who are at this convention, their job is to, hype up the crowd so that the viewers who are watching at home will also get hyped up. It's the same thing with the polls. The polls that are showing you that Kamala, they're getting closer now, but the polls that were showing, they're like, Kamala's soaring and da-da-da. That's to excite you, to make you want to come out and support and vote for her, excuse me, to come out and vote for her. So they're trying to energize the viewers at home, although I don't know how many viewers at home still awake because, like I said, this is way past people's bedtime.
A Harris-Walz administration can help us move past some of the tired old debates that keep stifling progress, because at their core, Kamala and Tim understand that when everybody gets a fair shot, we are all better off.
How are you going to talk about progress and you're the one that always comes in to disrupt progress? You're the one that shut down Occupy Wall Street. You're the one that stopped the NBA strike, which they had every reason to go on strike there. Right. So how are you going to talk about every time there's been anyone trying to like move towards any type of progress? You're the one that comes in to shut it down. So how are you going to talk about moving towards progress?
They understand that when every child gets a good education, the whole economy gets stronger. When women are paid the same as men for doing the same job, all families benefit. They understand that we can secure our borders without tearing kids away from their parents, just like we can keep our streets safe while also building trust between law enforcement and the communities they serve and eliminating bias. That will make it better for everybody. Donald Trump and his well-heeled donors, they don't see the world that way. For them, one group's gains is necessarily another group's loss. For them, freedom means that the powerful can do pretty much what they please. Whether
that means that to you too, Obama, you're part of that powerful group. Let's get out of here. What's your mama CIA? Your mama CIA? So let's get out of here. Let's pretend like you're not a part of that powerful group. Anytime you can sit up there and push a sitting president to resign, to not resign, but to drop out of the race, and you're going to pretend like you're not a part of that powerful group. Let's get out of here.
it's fire workers trying to organize a union, or put poison in our rivers, or avoid paying taxes like everybody else has to do.
Talk about poison in the rivers. Tim Walz would totally approve line 3. When indigenous people said, Tim Walz, please stop at stop line 3, Tim Walz approved line 3. So you're talking about dirty water on indigenous land, and you sitting up here praising Tim Walz, which he approved of that, by the way. Joe Biden, the Biden and Kamala Harris administration totally co-signed off on the Willow Project. And this is after Joe Biden said that he would not approve any more new drilling. So again, bad water on indigenous land. I can't believe, hold on. I can't believe people fall for this clown. I can't believe people fall for this clown. Seriously. Obama, like, he's really good. He's good at it. But over the years now, you have to know better. You got to know better now about Barack Obama. This is just a mess. Wasn't Flint under your presidency? Ay.
Well, we have a broader idea of freedom. We believe in the freedom to provide for your family if you're willing to work hard. The freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water and send your kids to school without worrying if they'll come home.
They approved the Willow Project. That's not going to be clean water. What are you talking about?
We believe that true freedom gives each of us the right to make decisions about our own life, how we worship, what our family looks like, how many kids we have, who we marry. And we believe that freedom requires us to recognize that other people have the freedom to make choices that are different than ours. That's okay. That's the America Kamala Harris and Tim Walz believe in. An America where we, the people, includes everyone. Because that's the only way this American experiment works. And despite what our politics might suggest, I think most Americans understand that. Democracy isn't just a bunch of abstract principles and dusty laws in some book somewhere. It's the values we live by.
No, it's people in a smoke-filled room picking the candidates.
It's the way we treat each other, including those who don't look like us, or pray like us, or see the world exactly like we do.
Does that include Palestinian Americans, Barack Obama? Why did the camera zoom in on him? Did everybody see this? Why did the camera zoom in on that guy? Why did they zoom? Hold on, watch.
And eliminating bias, that will make it better for everybody.
No, I think I missed it now. Oh, well.
Donald Trump and his well-heeled donors, they don't see the world that way. For them, one group's gains is necessarily another group's loss. For them, freedom means that the powerful can do pretty much what they please, whether it's fire workers trying to organize a union or...
I'm sorry, we had to jump ahead. All right, you guys get the point. Hold on.
The world's a little dimmer, and dictators and autocrats feel emboldened. And over time, we become less safe. We shouldn't be the world's policemen, and we can't eradicate every cruelty and injustice in the world.
Negro, didn't you bomb people in Libya? Like didn't you bomb all those people in Libya? Did you kill all those people? We shouldn't be the world's police. What are you talking about? Who?
But America can be and must be a force for good. Discouraging conflict, fighting disease, promoting human rights, protecting the planet from climate change, defending freedom, brokering peace. That's what Kamala Harris believes, and so do most Americans. Now, I know these ideas can feel pretty naive right now. We live in a time of such confusion and rancor, with a culture that puts a premium on things that don't last. Money, fame, status, likes. We chase the approval of strangers on our phones.
Negro, didn't you guys hire like all the social media influencers to come and speak at the DNC? I'm out. I can't. I'm sorry. I can only do so much. He went on for so long and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's like, you're saying these things, man, but you're not following these things. I am so sorry I put all of you guys through that.